Okay, so nobody's getting the truth from the mainstream media, folks. It's well past time to open your eyes, your ears, and your mind. Do your own research because something isn't right here. And if you can't see that, you are not paying attention, folks.
It's the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. Now that's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
The important message that we need Australians to get vaccinated as quickly as possible. In line with that, I do encourage all Australians to please go and book your vaccinations as soon as you can if you haven't already done so.
Emma, get away!
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Okay, we need to stand up against this tyranny, folks. Stop giving away your freedoms and liberties, because the more you give up, the more these people will take until you have absolutely nothing left. That's their agenda.
All right, good evening, family. How you going? We're going to try this again because, I just never got the chance to do this last night, guys. So good evening, everyone. Satan, get behind us. We rebuke the devil in Jesus' name. Get the frig out of here, okay? Number one, guys. Now, the story I told you about, all right, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, and Abednego, okay? You know who I'm talking about. So Daniel 3 starts around verse 8, guys. Now, the reason I went with that, and I'm telling you, the devil didn't like it, all right? You all saw what happened, okay? So let's just go back. I'm just going to take a couple of minutes here, guys, and then we got a guest on the show that are going to take over, and I'm just going to sit back again, all right, have a rest. But, okay, the reason that I come up with this is because I was sitting on a lounge at the ranch here, and I was saying to God, I'm confused. You know, I got all this info coming into me, guys. I get so much, man, right? And I'm getting confused, and I am. I'm only human. I'm going to tell you straight, all right? Guru is no frigging sensation, all right? I'm just like the rest of you. I'm just trying to, get my way through here, all right? We're here to endure and overcome. Endure and overcome, right? So we spoke last night, and I said that I was sitting on the lounge, and I was saying to God, man, I'm confused, Lord. Can you give me something? Because I just don't know what's going on out there, right? I'm trying to get a gist of it. I got people I'm trying to guide or, recommend, what we should be doing. Now, what happened, guys, was, as I said, I didn't really know that this Bible, right, was sitting where it was sitting, all right? And when I looked over, it was like God just said to me, pick it up. So I picked it up. I told you that. And then I'm thinking, I'll open it randomly open to Daniel 3, all right? Write it down, guys, Daniel 3. You want to go and have a look at this, all right? Read it for yourself, okay? I'm not a preacher. I'm not here to preach to you. I'm here to tell you what happened to me and my experiences. This has happened a few times to me, guys, as you know. I've randomly opened a Bible, and it's had a big effect on my life and Mel's and other people's. So what happened was there was 3 guys in Babylon. Now, what is the modern day Babylon, guys? The Corporation of America, NATO, the the WHO, the WEF, bring them all together, right? Babylon, right? Against humanity, Babylon, full of sin. So, if America's Babylon, which I do believe, that's why I was given to go and look at this, all right? So you know the story by now. What happens is Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, all right, get thrown into the furnace because they will not bow to the false idols. They will not bow. All right, I've done that, guys. I've stood, I've not bowed to nothing. I missed my dad's 92nd birthday because I would not bow down and put a mask on. And that cost me the rest of the time with my dad until they knocked him. And it hurt. But I stood for what I believed in. All right, I'm not bowing to the devil's antics, not one of them. So they got thrown in the furnace, guys. The furnace was turned up 7 times. The guards that threw them in got nailed. King Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, saw what was going on. He's the one that put them to death. So he thought. There's 4 people in the furnace, not 3. I've told you. Boom. Nebuchadnezzar brings them out. And what does he say? These are the only 3 guys that didn't bow, guys. Everybody else bowed to what Nebuchadnezzar said. They all got on a knee, just like the filthy cops for the bloody, whatever you want to call it, LGBTQ. Just like other people will do for this and will do for that. They'll bend a knee to the devil. But will you stand true in front of the Lord? Okay, and this is the thing. Okay, this is where we are, guys. We're in Babylon, man. I tell you, it's a roar out there. It is raging. You know it, and it's spiritual. So we talk about enduring and overcome. How do you think these guys endured and overcome a furnace, guys? 7 times the normal heat. How do you do that? Well, King Nebuchadnezzar worked it out pretty quick, guys. All right, and he went and got him out of the furnace. And he actually turned around and he said, anyone who mocks the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego will deal with me. Your house will go to ruins. Your life will be ruined. Now, these guys were then given a high promotion in the place of Babylon. All right, and then made a difference. Guys, you're at Babylon. That's where we are. Okay, we are facing Babylon. Okay, the wicked city, the wicked state, the wicked country, whatever you want to call it. All right, but this is your war. Now, these guys stood, and they stood hard. And I want you to go and read it. All right, now I might continue on with it tomorrow night in the intro, but I'm going to get off here in a minute. But these 3 guys were the only 3 guys in the land that stood. Only 3 guys in Babylon that stood up. The rest of them just dropped the knee, just like we've seen everywhere. All right, everyone, sports stars, bloody musicians, this, that, the other. Everybody's dropped the knee except you people. All right, we haven't dropped the knee. I hope you haven't. Okay, so this goes back again, guys. What have I been trying to tell you? We're here to endure and overcome. Why did God give me this verse? Because they endured and overcome in the furnace, not touched. Not by a thing. All right, but if you go to verse 4, you'll find out that King Nebuchadnezzar sent the following message to people of all nations. All right, all nations, races, languages in the world. Okay, this is back in the days of Babylon. You need to go and read your Bible if you don't know what's going on at that time. I'm not going to fill you in on the rest of the story. Right, you need to educate yourself. Greetings. Listen to my account of the wonders and miracles which the Supreme God has shown me. Well, the Supreme God showed me on the lounge the other day, guys, what we're up against. Okay? And he goes on to say, how great are the wonders God shows us. How powerful are the miracles he performs. God is king forever. He will rule for all time. And he goes on to describe his life. You can go and read it, okay? But where are you, guys, is what I ask you, right? Because you can always repent if you bent a knee somewhere. Luckily, I haven't. Okay, I've never worn a mask, never cucated, never done nothing, right? It cost me my dad's 92nd birthday because I stood. Okay, and he was gone a few weeks after it, guys. And I had to visit him, what, with security guards sitting across the hallway, you know, under the the guys of one of my sisters, just to get in the place to see my dad. Why? Because of the stance I took, guys. Did it cost me? Yeah, it cost me. All right, but I fear no man. All right, I tell you what I fear. Not hearing the words, well done, good and faithful servant. Okay? And that's what these guys done, these three men done, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. That's what they done. They stood, okay? So, are you going to stand, guys? Because you're going into the heat of the furnace. That's what that story gave to me. That's what God gave to me. You are about to enter the furnace. Are you going to be burnt? Are you going to be hurt? I tell you what, if you got faith in God and you're wearing the armor of God, you're not going to be. And it's a perfect example for where we are now, guys. All right? The people out there have no shame, but you have pride. You have pride in what you stand for, right? That is that you are on the right side of this war, and this war is heating up, guys, just like that furnace heated up. So I'm just saying to everyone, we're here to endure and overcome, guys, and the only way you are going to do it, right, is with the armor of God. Are you ready? I'm ready too, Frank. I've never been more ready, mate. I'm over it. I'm sick of it. I've had enough of it. All right, and I don't care how much the heat comes on. I'm not bending to nothing. Nothing. They've had 20 cops to arrest me, right? They could have locked me up when they got me there. You know, what did God do? We go outside the court. Frank was there with us. 15 of us prayed. We walk into the court and the charges are dropped. Miracle. Miracle. You think they don't want me in jail? Mate, God is bigger, guys, than all this, all right? All right, don't let it get to you. Yes, Belinda, united we stand, divided we fall. You're exactly right. You stand in the name of the Lord. So, guys, that was the story that I wanted to get out last night, that the devil wanted to, not let us get out, right? So it's rebuked. The devil's done nothing tonight because he can't. Why? Because I got rid of him in the name of Jesus before we started this show, guys, and he cannot handle it. When I walk into a room sometimes, guys, I see the demons in people shudder. Now, that's not because I'm a perfect Christian. I'm not. I'm a friggin' rough one, man. Roughest one you've ever met. But guess what? I got an unwavering faith that you cannot move. And that is the difference. When demons see you, they tremble. They tremble at the name of Jesus. Remember it, guys. All right, this war is about to get hot. All right, and I'm telling you, God didn't give me that story for nothing. I don't randomly open up a Bible to a verse like that in the situation I was in, trying to find out my way through some confusion in my head about what's going on, and to be given that. Okay, Yeshua. Exactly. Right, so, guys, I just want to, encourage you. All right, let's get in the ring, boys, girls. Let's go. Right, the fight's on. It's coming to your doorstep. But we don't buckle. We don't do a thing. Okay, so I just quickly say, in the name of Jesus, we thank you, Lord. We thank you for the blessings. We thank that you have more power than anything else in this world. And we stand with you, Lord. And we thank you for where you brought us to, what you've taught us, and we are here for the battle. And we will continue to fight, Lord. We're never taking a knee. I'll die on my feet, and I will die a hard death, guys, before I drop a knee. All right? I missed my dad's 92nd birthday because me and Mel would not drop a knee. It hurt. But I tell you what, I think God was pretty proud. Dad's up there now watching me going, go, students, go, son. Go, you good thing. I didn't know you were such a good thing, Davo, but go, you good thing. Because he now knows what I was doing. Why I took that stand. Now, I've got some other good friends out there, all right? Really good mates of mine that have businesses. And because of the bullshit I cop on this friggin' channel from all the friggin' trolls and that, I never say anything about anything, but I'm over it. I told you there was some products out there, all right? And there was some stuff I was going to do, and I'm going to start and put it out there. Number one, if there's anywhere in Australia, guys, my mate owns this company, Wild One. I spent an hour with him this morning. Mary Mel.
.com.au.
Wildone.com.au. Purely organic. There is a whole range of drinks there, guys. These are available, but they're not available in that many places. Singapore, different places like that. This is a world market, guys, all right? But this guy here, my mate Andrew, right, has an absolutely brilliant product, guys. It is totally organic, all right? And I'm going to start pushing the stuff that I believe in. Get our money out the hands of the friggin' cabal, right? And start and put it into good people within this country. Another one I've talked to you about. This stuff, right? It's called collagen, okay? Another good mate of mine, Matt, all right? I'm going to pump this too, guys. Right, is it? Right? www.collagenx.com.au. All right? This product is absolutely brilliant, guys. All right? Go do your research. All right? I know how it's packaged. I know how it's made. I know where it comes from. My mate owns a company. He's also got organic coffee that we drink. Okay? But I'm going to start promoting a few of these things, guys. And before anyone says anything, I don't make a cent. Okay? No one gives me money. No one does anything for me. Okay? I'm doing this because I'm sick of us giving our money to people who don't deserve it. All right? There are opportunities out there with good people who have good products. All right? Wild One and by Andrew, all right, and the Collagen X are two, and there's another one coming up, guys, and I'll talk about it tomorrow. All right, but guys, I want you to go and have a look. All right, wildone.com.au, collagen, www.collagen.com.au. All right, so there's my little plug for the night, guys. Let's get the money. There's another one coming tomorrow night, right? Get the money out of the cabal, guys. Slow the beast. Right? We're going to turn this thing around. How we can do that is we can turn it around. All right? We can stop spending our money on stuff. So have a great show, guys. I'll let Cazz and Glenn Patriot 101 in tonight. All right? They're going to have a chat. I'm going to leave you to it. But, guys, all right, there's no bending a knee from here on in, I'm telling you. You do, you're going to get damaged. You will be hurt. Okay? And that's a simple fact because the devil's getting serious. Have a great night, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you. All right, Glenn, welcome to the show. Glenn, you've sent me through some stuff. It's been pretty interesting having a look at your stuff. You've got the official amended national notice, tacit binding agreement by default. We actually had somebody on the other night, and they cited this, and I just wondered if you wanted to talk us through it.
Yeah, it's funny. I saw it on TikTok today. Someone else had put it up on TikTok, and I'm going through, flicking through TikTok. I'm like, oh, well, there you go. That's up there as well. So other people are also sharing that out there. So what this is, guys, this is over these last, say, 5 years of us. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone.
So I
put in some notifications today to the Governor General, Attorney General, and the Defence Ministers, the Australian Ministerial Cabinet, plus the Prime Minister's Office, with the National Tacit Binding Agreement through default by acquiescence, also the International Judicial Notices, and also the Global Constitution by the Global Federal Postmaster Judge, Mr. Mark Christopher, and then, of course, many others throughout the world that are using that technology. I'd like to pay homage to my brother Glenn for putting that notice together.
All right, so sorry about cutting you off there. I just had to go and grab it. But all right, let's have a go. What is this? Tell us about it.
Okay, so as you know, we've been on the front line of this rubbish battle against these corporate pirates and tyrants and you name it, and they've been proven to be that because of this notice also. So what this is, a tacit binding agreement by default through acquiescence means acquiescence. Say you're in a court of law, a proper court, not a puny corporate court, but one that's an actual court. If you were to not answer a question in regards to a serious crime, acquiescence, not answering that question would be considered that you were admitting to the crime, right? So silence is acquiescence. You know, when they say someone's been arrested, you have the right to remain silent, right? You absolutely do. You have the right to remain silent, and they prefer you did, right? So thing is, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say may and can be held against you in a court of law, right? In a lawful court, I would say, but they're not lawful courts. So what's happened is all these questions that have been put into that notice over the years of what's been put forward as we call some people put to the courts, served to the courts, or served on the courts. All these questions have been put forward to the courts, proponed to the courts, and and whoever else is listed in there, the banks, whoever, the councils, the cops, all of them, right? They've got all the questions in there that we know they can't, even the MPs, that they can't answer because they're loaded questions. We put those questions in there because we have the material evidence that they can't answer them. So this
I'll bring it
document,
back in, and because those questions are at the end, yeah?
Yep.
Here they are. All right, here's the first one, which I like. Do you deny that the Commonwealth of Australia means Commonwealth Office of Australia and is registered to the Securities Exchange Commission of Washington, D.C., SEC, CIK, what is that?
000805
Very good. Reporting file number 333163307. As are all the states and treasuries, meaning, and that's just come up, so I can't read it now. Meaning all those operating and conducting business under the titles of foreign vested corporations, and this was done so by deceit without the people of this continent's knowledge nor consent. That's
Correct.
The first one. Now that's a big mouthful.
It is a big mouthful, but it's a fact. So we know it's a fact. It's registered there. It's on the Edgar filing system. You can see it. It's up there, right? So there's plenty of proof of it. There's also lots of evidence, I should say, of it. So, like, and you've also got under ASIC that the Commonwealth of Australia is registered to also owned by BlackRock. How does this happen, right? Come on, there's it's so blatant, it's so transparent now of how fraudulent this whole thing is, right? We've been had. Everyone has been had, and it's not just us; it's our generations before us. Our mums and dads, our grandfathers. This has been going on a long time, and the major thing, as we once spoke about before, but we'll go over it quickly again, is personage. All right, so when they've gone and they put all these post offices around the world into these corporations, into these private entities, right, privately owned entities. So what's happened now? It's allowed platforms for these tyrants or these pirates, these ones calling themselves this and that, to now send you their mail. You get in the mail with the capital letters, the capitalized name, which is a dead name, right? Or it's either dead or it's commercial property, right? So this all ties once again back to the birth certificate, which many people.
Well, and that becomes, which I want to go branch into in a minute, but I'll let you finish because this is also about the
to this world. Born comes
about the spelling, isn't it? It's about the English language, the use of the English language.
Yeah. Just be quick before you go into that. Think about the word spelling.
No, I want you to finish on. I want you to finish on this because it's the birth certificate is the birth certificate fraud, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a birth certificate fraud. So so what that is, without mum and dad knowing, because they were told they need to get it to when they leave school to get their driver's licenses, or they need to go to school even to register to school, right? So this is how they have entrapped people into having to get one of these contracts, because that's what they are. So this contract has been signed, whereas they've given you the dead name, as in the dog Latin name, which is on gravestones, right? They've turned that family lineage name, which should not be their business, right? They've gone and turned that into a dead name and turned it into a corporation, and then created another name similar to yours, but in black, so that they can identify you as a non-existent entity or just dead, lost at sea eventually, right? So then they can trade with you as a corporation, because corp means dead in corporation, right? So corpus. So the dead cannot contract with the living, so therefore they need to create these fraudulent contracts where your mum and dad sign you over to the state without knowing, where the state believes they own you, right? So the state believes they're looking after you for your guardian for your purity of your life until you get lost at sea. This is how twisted and how stupid and how mental this whole thing is, right? And these people can go to work every day and present this rubbish. Like, seriously, come on, man. Like,
There's another aspect to it, though, which is becoming more evident, and that was outed by, well, first of all, I think it was Jordan Maxwell, but also David Strait has put something out recently, and this is what he said, and that is about the mortgage. So so my understanding is that when they create the entity, what they do is they have a bond, and that bond is then a certain amount of gold, and then that gold becomes tradable. And then he is actually talking about the mortgage fraud and how we're so wealthy individually. Our energy has created so much wealth.
We have, well, that's what we said in a few. Oh, go ahead. Play David first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know all mortgages in the United States are fraud? Every one of them. Every one is fraud. Did you know your mortgage was paid off? Your mortgage was paid off the moment you signed the mortgage application and they accepted it. You know who paid it off? You did. See, you're not a debtor, you're a creditor. You just don't know it. You don't know it. They want you to think you're a debtor and that you're indebted to them. Your signature paid off that loan immediately. And you don't know why, do you?
Yep. See, that's also, I've also highlighted that in that notice, what they've been doing with that little trickery. So, yeah, like we said, it's all, like David said, it's all paid off, even personal loans, credit cards. You know, they'll give you the credit card saying you've got this maximum limit on it. So, in other words, they've allowed you to withdraw from your trust a certain amount of money, but they've kept, like they've given you that. As we go through in that notice, you'll notice, as we talked about in the dollar sign, how we've got the double line. It's a real dollar sign. So the sign we have is a peso. So you'll see the double line is a dollar sign. That was always the way it used to be, even on the typewriters. That was taken away. So therefore, so what's happening is the banks are taking the gold value for whatever that credit card is. Say it's a $30,000 limit credit card. They're taking the gold value for that, and they're giving you a $30,000 peso limit, because that's all we've been paid in, and that's all we've been dealing in over here. So then they're keeping the capital of the rest, and then they're making you pay back that peso value plus interest, high interest.
You know, there's a guy doing the rounds at the moment, and he's into the QFS, and he believes that he's solved the puzzle on it. But one of the things that he said is exactly that. He said, what you have to realize is that it's 0.1% of what the value of $100 or something like that. So he was actually saying pretty much what you've been saying, and how he is actually like just basically, but he's coming at it from an investor and from a banking perspective, and how he figured it out.
Yeah,
so
and
it's really interesting. The information is coming out.
And this is how brash they are too. So like they not only do that, but they'll charge you stamp duty on it, and then they'll charge you tax on it, and then they tax us on the incomes of pesos. So not only are they giving us pittance and crumbs, right? And people are wondering why they struggle from week to week, and you know they've got to work 2 jobs to be able to pay the mortgage and the death pledge, and 2 jobs to be able to afford the groceries, to feed the little ones, to educate them, to pay the bills. You know, we've got bills after bills after bills after bills. So that alone, and compiling all that together, should tell people exactly what they're trying to do, right? So they're trying to keep us all in this low vibration, crushed mode of slavery, right? They keep us there, because there they can control, right? From there they can say, all right, we can look after you now. We can give you a few crumbs, and we can give you this, and we can give you that. And it's just all crumbs they're feeding us just to appease, right? So, and this is how it's always been, but people have gone, oh, well, what do you do?
Bakali, the president of El Salvador, he said a similar thing, and I'll bring that in.
Symptoms that are even more difficult to diagnose. For instance, the financial situation of the United States. When I talk to my conservative friends right here, they always tell me that the problem is high taxes, but they're wrong. Of course, high taxes are extremely high here in the United States. I give you that. You're right in that. But that's not the real problem. The real problem is not the high taxes themselves, but the fact that they are not even really funding the government. Not even those high taxes, higher than a lot of places in the world, not even those taxes are really funding the government. So who's financing the government? Government is financed by treasury bonds, paper. And who buys the treasury bonds? Mostly the Fed. And how does the Fed buy them?
The duplicity of financial fraud. So we have the bonds that the people, the trusts of the people. Okay, so where the corporations basically take that money, and then we take our money, and then we have to pay it back. They've lowered the value of the income, and then not only that, they've got the treasury bonds on top of that, which is the government money, which is basically looking at you as basically labor, and then they take that, and then he goes on to say that your taxes don't even basically fund the government. It's basically this is funded by that, and then he actually goes on to I'll just finish it up.
By printing money. But what backing does the Fed have for that money being printed? The treasury bonds themselves. So basically, you finance the government by printing money out of thin air. Someone could ask, well, so if the government can print unlimited amounts of money out of thin air, why do they collect taxes? I mean, in theory, it would make sense, right? If they can print unlimited amounts of money, why would they need taxes for? The answer is simple, but it's very shocking. The real problem is that you pay high taxes only to uphold the illusion that you are funding the government, which you are not.
And not only that, it's basically to keep us enslaved to the system, which they've entrapped us, and so therefore they can keep us basically like hamsters running around in the wheel.
Okay, so now here's the thing. So when we get people, when you say this to them, we all are entitled to wealth. We should have all been born into wealth because we were inherited that wealth, right? It was our four families that earned that wealth. Their blood, sweat, tears, and all the fraudulent taxes that were stolen from them also is ours, right? So because they can't have it, they're already passed. So it's all our inheritance running into that Cestu QV trust. It's all there, right? So let's say that we all had, everyone's going, well, how could you do that? How can you take away tax? Our bins won't get any down, our reserves and parks won't get looked after, and right? Okay. The reason why they think that right now is because we're all on very low incomes, and right, we pay a lot of tax, but it's still very low because we're on low incomes, right? The world's about a third of what they should be earning at the moment, right? So we're about a third of what we should be earning in this country at the moment. So, and the pensions should be up about three times as well. So what happens is we all had our wealth, right? And like there was a 2% expenditure tax only on goods and services because we'd have the wealth, we'd be spending. The economy would be booming because people would be able to go out and buy their goods and services. They'd be able to go out and renovate their house, be able to go out there and buy their new car. They'd be able to go out there and buy their dream property, build that new house or whatever, and do whatever business they want, buy a big shed, get a business going, because they'd have the funds, and then they'd have the people who have the money to go and buy what they produce as well, right? Whatever they're creating in that factory, those awesome innovations that have been withheld, people would have the money to go and invest in that if they liked it, right? So then that would also create further and further economy. And then if there was only a 2% expenditure tax on this population, which has probably dwindled a lot since COVID, obviously, but on this population, on that expenditure, and if it was staying in this country, staying here with the people, it would be unbelievable. Right? It'd cover everything.
The wealth of the country and the ability to innovate and create is astronomical, and it just goes to show like we're doing really well, and we've defied them in a lot in comparison. Now, just quickly, let's go through this as well. This is your amended envelope. Talk to us about this.
Okay, so everyone comes to me and they say, well, what do? I've been getting these envelopes. They've got that legal fiction name on it. Do I open them? All right, so if you open an envelope and it's not your name, right? So some people here who've joined us tonight probably don't know too much about the legal fiction name. Well, you've been living a lie with these people who've been conducting their business with you with that capitalized name, as we went for before, is a dog Latin name. So they're writing you as dead by doing this. So capital and capital punishment, the capital means death, right? So they put you in the dead name up there on that screen. I'm pointing to it, but you're over there, so you can't see it. But they put you up on an envelope in the dead name, or they put you in the commercial name, but not you. So I've prepared. Let's put something here if you can all see. If you want to just pop back to show this here. This is how you write. So if anyone can, I'll just come in a bit closer. So this is the right. Go that way. It's a bit confusing when it's back to front. So this is that's supposed to be a thumbprint over that there. I'm not very good at drawing thumbprints. I can do good thumbprints with my thumb, but it's so that's how you're supposed to write your living name. Right there. And that's how you're supposed to do a date. So this is the way they used to do it many, many centuries ago, right? So because what that does, and if you have a look just here, if you got your colons either side of the name, you've got lowercase in the name, and you've got the hyphen which joins the two names, which means if you've got one name, you just have the one name and a colon either side. So what that does, it encapsulates your name, your living name. So what they've done, they've gone and taken this name being the surname, right? So that turned it into a surname because that's supposed to be your family lineage bloodline name, right? Nothing to do with anyone's business. So they bought this into this and made that their business, okay? So they've tied you to your generations before. They've created a bond out of you, turning that into a black capitalized name, and then adding it also to a capitalized name or name with capital that starts there. It can be either all capitals. They do lots of if you notice, you get your mail, and a lot of times you'll have starts with a capital on both first names, and it'll be lowercase, and even same with the surname will be the same. Or they'll do it all in capital, or they'll just be starts with a capital, and then all capitals. Right? That's how they normally do it. So what they do that for is they've created different ways they can funnel the money from your Cestu QV trust. So they created different little bonds, little ways to jump in there and siphon money from you, right? It's through fraudulent contract. So every time that you pick up one of those envelopes they send to you, and your name is not written like this again in a living format, which is on my screen there also how I've written the name, all right? And it's not written in that format, they're looking at you as dead. So as soon as you open that envelope, you've said to them, okay, I accept that's me. You've said that's me on the envelope. I've opened it. I've accepted the contract. So what that when you get to read it, print it off. Once you get to read this, what this does, it's telling them, okay, if you are dealing with me in the living, if it is the living you are talking to and dealing with right now, and you want me to consider what's in this envelope, you need to, that name sounds like my name when spoken, but that is not how my name is written in the living. So if it is the living that you are wanting to contract to, then as soon as you can then therefore write my name how I wish it to be written, right, then I may consider opening that envelope, because you need consideration on a contract first, consider opening and having a look at what's inside that envelope, right? But they know they cannot do this because as soon as they tell you you're living, right, they can't contract with you no more because they're corporations and they're dead entities. So all you need to do is cut these little things out here, and as it says at the top, it's got the instructions. Fill out your name the way it says to with a red pen, put a little arrow to return to sender, send it back. They'll try another way. They'll send another name. They'll keep sending. They'll exhaust themselves with it because they keep trying, thinking you go, oh, well, they keep sending it. I can't stop them. Keep putting the damn thing on there and keep sending it back to them because they're not allowed to commit fraud against you, and you have a right not to partake in that fraud. And I'll stand on that every time. Okay? So you get these, stick them on there.
That's awesome, Glenn. All right, just quickly, because we're at 39, and I've just, for those of you that are wondering where you can find Glenn, I've just popped his two Telegram channels into the chat there. So just basically click on that and go and follow him. But let's just quickly, just before we close the show, do something on the English language.
Today's definition of barren is unfruitful, bleak, and lifeless. Our children, as designated by our language, aren't even ours. Parents are a pair who rents. Our governments, especially our courts, don't treat a parent's right to control and direct the upbringing of their child as a fundamental liberty. We're forced from a young age through many types of indoctrination, and our parents are helping in this process. Look at the word childhood. A hood is used to cloak and hide. The etymology of children is chill and dren. Chill means cold. Dren is a name meaning a strong and healthy individual. So children are strong individuals who must be chilled, made cold. Stay with me, this will all come together. In Ballantyne's...
We'll just leave that now, but it's true. I think that the good morning is basically when you greet somebody with good morning. It's talking about morning. Weekend means that you are weak. You've weakened yourself.
Weekend. Everything they've done, like the toxic languages, like you can look at it in blessings, right? Mm-hmm. Be blessings, right? So everything they've done, they've even though we know it to be what it is now, they have done it on purpose, right? To try and, toxify it and laugh at us.
And they do that because there is power. These people believe there is power in words, like
magic.
And we know Christians, Christians believe there's powers in words. As you speak out of your mouth and believe in your heart, so you shall have. So
yes, as we were spoken into existence by words, so too does this world need to be healed by words, and also to be able to filter and take away the toxic language that has caused us the dramas we have now, like as in the envelopes, and being able to call us another name, and then people having to answer that name that's not us. So all this is just so toxic at the moment that no one knows what's going on, right? So people are lost. It's how it's meant to be. It's chaos. It's confusion.
No, of course, chaos. Order out of chaos. Yeah. But it's an interesting thing. Since the last time I think you're on, I started, instead of saying good morning, I now say Happy New Day, and it makes a difference. But it's amazing how quickly people catch on as well. I've got other people in my office that are that are saying it to me back now. So
sorry, my phone rang. Sorry about that. Yeah.
That's right.
So happy New Day. That's great. And when you say it, they automatically smile. You watch, try it, right? So when you go good morning, you're already mumbling when you're saying good morning, because it's because of your lip movements, right? And that's important. Facial expressions and anything you say are important. Okay. So and they know by using words that'll change the facial expressions to not give it light, that they can darken something that's supposed to be good. Yeah. Right. And then we walk around mourning our slavery that they've imposed on us, and they sit back laughing because they put us in this slavery through the curriculum, through the schooling that they by design, babysitting clubs they've given us, right? That teach us how to become and conform to a system. All of this thought, you got to give it to them. There's not much they haven't thought of, right? They've covered pretty damn everything, right? They've put their poison into everything. It's the water, the air, the language, right? It's just ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. All right, guys. Glenn can be found at the Revelation of John on Telegram, and also the Four Horsemen 101.
Four Horsemen 101, yes, and Four Horsemen 101. Just to say, Four Horsemen 101. There's lots of folders in there. There's lots of material evidence. It's all printable. You can go in there. It's totally free. My channel's all free. I just want people to learn. I want people to empower themselves. I want them to wake up to who their true created being is and to walk it. Because faith is not hope. Faith is surety. If you walk in true faith, you know that you're going to get the victory. You don't go, oh, I hope, and I'm going to pray to God that he's going to do it all right. No, stop that. Right? Just go for it. Right? That's faith. Put your armor on, the breastplate, pick up the shield, pick up the sword, go. We can do this. Everyone can do it. Right?
All right. That's it on that. Thank you very much for joining us. And we're being taken out by free metal.
Right.